Hello students, today we'll be discussing pharmacology of alcohol. As we all are aware, ethyl alcohol is a drinking alcohol while methyl alcohol is toxic. There are three types of alcoholic beverages which are meant for the drinking purpose. First is the beer. Beer consists of 3 to 6% of pure alcohol and it is manufactured by the fermentation of grains. Second is the wine. Wine consists of about 9 to 16% of pure alcohol. For example, champagne. Champagne is a wine. It is produced by the fermentation of natural sugars, for example, grapes. Then distilled spirit. It consists of 40% alcohol. For example, rum, whiskey, then gin, brandy, vodka. These all are distilled spirit. And these are also produced by fermentation, but fermentation followed by distillation so as to increase the content of alcohol. Now, a very important parameter is what exactly is a standard drink. A standard drink of alcoholic beverage is a drink that contains not more than 16 gram of alcohol. So every standard drink, either it is of beer or it is of wine or it is of spirit, contains 16 gram of alcohol. So these are the diagrams I have shown over here. 400 ml of beer contains 16 gram of alcohol. 150 ml of wine consists of 16 gram of alcohol, or 50 ml of spirit. It is a one standard drink. It also contains 16 gram of alcohol. So a standard drink contains 16 gram of alcohol. And when one standard drink is consumed, it produces 30 milligram per 100 ml of blood alcoholic content in an adult male. That comes to 0.03%. And 30 to 60 milligram per 100 ml of blood alcoholic content produces euphoria, feeling of pleasure, excitement, inhibition of hesitation, inhibition of self-criticism, and all type of restraints are lost. So if the levels of alcohol in the blood are less than 80 milligram per 100 ml, then it is termed as to be legally intoxicated. But when the alcoholic blood content rises to more than 80 milligram per 100 ml, that is 0.08%, then the functioning of the body gets impaired and the person is termed as to be drunken. If the alcoholic blood content rises to more than 400 milligram per 100 ml of blood, that is more than 0.4%, then this condition is potentially fatal. It results in coma, convulsions, and finally death. Now, so we should know what exactly is how much exactly is the moderate alcohol consumption. Moderate alcohol consumption is not more than 1 drink per day by a woman and not more than 2 drinks in a day by a man. Now let's talk about the pharmacological actions of alcohol. As we all know, alcohol is a psychoactive substance. Locally, when it is applied, it acts like an astringent and an antiseptic. Now, astringent, we all are aware, is a substance which precipitates the surface proteins, and it is used for cleansing the skin, tightening the pores, removing the oil. Whereas antiseptic precipitates bacterial proteins and it prevents the growth of microorganisms. Now, the most important effect of alcohol is on the central nervous system. Alcohol depresses the central nervous system and therefore it is a neuronal depressant. Now let's see the effect of alcohol on the body. How the rise in blood alcoholic content produces effect on the body. Now when the alcohol is consumed in a moderate amount, it produces a blood alcoholic content of 30 to 60 milligram per deciliter. Now at this concentration, it produces a feeling of pleasure. This is on the moderate drinking. On moderate drinking itself, it produces pleasure, excitement, euphoria, hesitation, self-criticism, and restraint are lost. And this is responsible, these effects on the body are responsible for the alcohol seeking behavior. These effects on the body are responsible for the addiction on chronic alcoholism. Now at this stage the person is not considered to be drunken. Now at blood alcoholic content level of 80 to 150 milligram per deciliter, a person is termed as to be drunken, and it results in mental clouding, disorganization of thoughts. There is impairment of attention and memory, alteration of gait. There is a drunken manner of walking. There is alteration of perception and drowsiness. That is, person feels sleepy and lethargic. So the person is not allowed to drive in such a situation. Now when the blood alcoholic content further rises to 150 to 200 milligram per deciliter, it results in careless and unsystematic. The person becomes very careless and unsystematic, that is sloppy. Then ataxic and drunk. Vomiting, there is excessive vomiting and blackout. There is loss of memory. The person does not remember anything. Further rise in the blood alcoholic content results in stupor. Stupor is a state of near unconsciousness or insensibility. Further rise in the blood alcoholic content results in unconsciousness and suppressed breathing. And more than 400 milligram per deciliter of blood alcoholic content is fatal. It results in death. So these are the effect on the central nervous system. Now coming to the effect of alcohol on cardiovascular system. In the small doses it produces cutaneous and gastric vasodilation. There is a dilation of blood vessels. Cutaneous refers to skin, especially the face. Then when it is consumed in moderate amounts, it produces sympathetic stimulation which results in tachycardia. At high doses it depresses the central nervous system, myocardial and vasomotor center depression, which causes fall in the blood pressure. Now effect on the body temperature. As we have already seen, alcohol causes vasodilation. Because of the dilation of blood vessels, there is feeling of warmth. But because of the vasodilation, there is also loss of heat from the body, which results in fall in body temperature. Then effect on respiration. It results in respiratory depression. This we have already seen. At high concentration of 300 to 400 milligram, it causes suppressed breathing. Then effect on the gastrointestinal tract. As such, when in a normal amount also, when it is consumed in a moderate amount, alcohol produces gastric irritation. It causes rise in the gastric acid. Still higher consumption results in gastritis, and there is aggravation of peptic ulcers, precipitation of peptic ulcers. Then effect of alcohol on the kidney. Alcohol reduces the secretion of antidiuretic hormone, and therefore it results in diuresis. There is increase in the volume of urine. Now we will talk about the neurobiology of alcohol. Alcohol affects several neurological pathways concurrently at the same time. And one of the most important pathways is the dopaminergic pathway. This dopaminergic pathway, it extends from ventral tegmental area. Now this is the diagram of brain, and in the blue color I have shown the dopaminergic pathway. Now this is the ventral tegmental area. Now this dopaminergic pathway, it projects from the ventral tegmental area to the nucleus accumbens. So this blue color pathway, it is termed as to the mesolimbic pathway. And alcohol causes increase in the release of dopamine in this mesolimbic pathway. So alcohol stimulates the release of dopamine in the mesolimbic pathway, and that is responsible for the increase in the reward circuit, or that is responsible for the stimulation of reward circuit. And stimulation of this reward circuit results in the feeling of pleasure, euphoria and excitement, and these feelings are actually responsible for the chronic alcoholism, alcohol craving and addiction. Another important pathway, the serotonergic pathway. Serotonergic pathway, here I have depicted in the red color, and these are the red color Raphe nucleus. These nucleus are termed as to the Raphe nucleus, and these Raphe nucleus, they release serotonin. Serotonin is a 5-hydroxytryptamine. And alcohol causes increase in serotonin in all the parts of the brain, as we can see the arrows over here. So there is increase in the serotonin in all the parts of brain, and serotonin produces feeling of well-being and mood elevation. Another important pathway that is influenced by alcohol is a GABAergic pathway. Alcohol enhances GABA A receptor mediated chloride channel opening, which is responsible for hyperpolarization. There is increase in the GABA activity in amygdala in brain, and increase in the GABA activity, as we know that GABA, that is a gamma aminobutyric acid, it is an inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain. Increase in the GABA is responsible for the CNS depression. It is responsible for the neuronal inhibition. And because of the increase in the GABAergic activity, there is sedation. There is loss of all the inhibited behavior. That means there is a loss of all the types of inhibitions like hesitation, self-criticism, feeling of guilt, and the person becomes relaxed. And GABA, it depresses the central nervous system. Another important pathway that is influenced by alcohol is the glutamate pathway. Glutamate, we know that is an excitatory neurotransmitter, and inhibition of NMDA receptors. NMDA receptors are the glutamate receptors. Inhibition of NMDA receptors in striatum, nucleus accumbens, and amygdala. And inhibition of glutamate activity is responsible for the fall in the cognitive function. It results in attention deficit. That is, there is a fall in the attention. Impaired sleep-wake regulation, and impaired sleep-wake regulation is also responsible for the hangover after the consumption of alcohol, which results in headache, dry mouth, laziness, impaired performance and all. And apart from this, inhibition of glutamate pathway is also responsible for the blackout phenomenon, that is the temporary loss of memory. Another very important pathway is the opioid pathway. It is the opioid receptors. These are also influenced by alcohol. Alcohol triggers the release of beta endorphins in the mesolimbic pathway, and these beta endorphins, they bind to mu receptors, and that further increases the release of dopamine, and further there is increase in the feeling of pleasure, excitement, euphoria, and which is responsible for the alcohol craving and addiction. Another set of transmitters are the endocannabinoids. There is increase in the release of endocannabinoids in hippocampus and cerebral cortex, and increase in the endocannabinoids is responsible for the fall in the cognition, responsible for the cognitive deficits, which is responsible for the amnesia. Alcohol also inhibits voltage sensitive neuronal calcium channels in the cerebellum, responsible for the motor incoordination and unsteady gait, that is a drunken manner of walking. Now coming to the pharmacokinetics of alcohol absorption, 20% of ethyl alcohol is absorbed from the stomach, while 80% is absorbed from the intestine. Peak level of alcohol is attained in about 30 minutes. It freely crosses the blood-brain barrier in placenta. Metabolism of ethyl alcohol, 98% of ethyl alcohol is metabolized in the liver. In the liver, ethanol is converted to acetaldehyde by the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase. Acetaldehyde is further converted into acetate by the enzyme aldehyde dehydrogenase. And acetate is further converted into carbon dioxide and water with the release of energy. Now it should be noted over here that when alcohol is consumed in high quantity, apart from metabolism of ethanol or the ethyl alcohol by alcohol dehydrogenase, ethyl alcohol is also metabolized by the process of microsomal oxidation, which is mediated by CYP2E1 enzyme. And during this process of microsomal oxidation, there is excessive release of reactive oxygen species, that is the free radicals, and these free radicals are one of the main important factors responsible for the liver cirrhosis, that is the alcoholic liver cirrhosis, fibrosis of liver, which is induced by the excessive consumption of alcohol. Now, alcohol is also removed from the body in the exhaled air. Now, concentration in exhaled air is 0.05% of alcohol that is found to be present in the blood, and this percentage of alcohol in the exhaled air, it forms the basis of the breath analysis. Rate of metabolism is found to be less in the women, so women are recommended not to consume more than one standard drink per day, whereas the rate of metabolism is found to be high in men, and therefore they can consume 2 drinks per day. The recommended amount or recommended consumption is 2 standard drinks per day. Now, side effects and toxicity. Moderate drinking results in nausea, vomiting, flushing, hangover, and traffic accidents. Now, hangover refers to a feeling of a headache, dry mouth, laziness, disturbed mood, and impaired performance after the consumption of alcohol. Heavy drinking or acute intoxication results in unawareness. It can result in unresponsiveness, stupor, that is a state of unconsciousness, near unconsciousness, hypotension, gastritis, hypoglycemia, respiratory depression, coma, and death. Chronic alcoholism, that is a heavy drinking, leads to nutritional deficiencies, impaired mental and physical performance, polyneuritis, that is the nerves are affected, inflammation of the nerves, pellagra, which is caused because of the deficiency of nicotinic acid in the diet, tremors, seizures, loss of brain mass, Wernicke's encephalopathy. Now, this is a neurological condition which is caused because of the deficiency of thiamine, and it causes confusion, it causes balance problems, it causes difficulty in the movement, there is drunken way of walking. Then apart from this, chronic alcoholism also causes Korsakoff psychosis, that is the loss of memory, and megaloblastic anemia. So this is all about the pharmacology of alcohol. Thanks for watching the video.